Hej och hjärtligt välkomna ska ni vara till Invest Live. I denna sändning som presenteras av Investor Target, Direkt Studios, Stockpicker och de bolag som deltar kommer vi att få lyssna på två bolag verksamma inom miljö- och medicinteknik. Bolag som nu kommer att ta nästa steg och adressera en gigantisk marknad och global sådan. Först ut är miljöteknikbolaget Stirlingversal. Bolaget vars variant av Stirlingmotor förbättrar effekt, miljöavtryck och pris för energi. Stirlingversal följs av danska Audientes, bolaget vars banbrytande teknik erbjuder även de med en mindre plånbok att kunna höra ordentligt. Då båda bolagen vänder sig till en internationell publik, dels när det gäller investerare och dels när det gäller kunder, kommer vi nu att fortsätta på engelska. As always with our broadcast, if you watch this live, you can interact with the management and you can do so by writing your questions in the top chat. We will address your question at the end of each presentation. And with that under our belt, it's high time to welcome Johan Arrhenius, CEO for the land-based Stirlingversal. Johan, hello, how are things?
Hello, Carlo. Things are good, thank you. And thank you for the nice introduction. And thank you everyone who's listening and watching for giving me this opportunity to introduce Stirlingversal. As we don't have much time, let's start. My name is Johan Arrhenius, by the way. I'm Swedish and I'm the CEO of the company. So we are a green tech company, as Carl just mentioned. This means that we use our technology to create products and solutions that are good for the environment and good for the climate. Our core technology is a Stirling engine that converts heat into electricity. We are based in Lund, South Sweden. But we also have a fully owned subsidiary in Kunshan, just outside Shanghai in China. That is our center for production, assembly and production of our engines. But we also work a lot there with market both in China and Southeast Asia, which is enormous. Through that, we have recently received a commercial order through a system partner based in China, but selling in Southeast Asia and Europe. And we actually have a positive gross margin on our first engines. This is just a start, but it's a good start. We expect to have positive cash flow in 2026. So we have some way to go, but we're good, well on the way. And we are now actually doing a emission of new shares at a very good offer as we go into the commercialization phase of the product. Our mission: we will provide clean, on-demand energy solutions close to the consumer and close to the fuel sources. I will get a bit more about that in another slide, but it's a very strong mission. Because the challenges that we address now, that we all have to address, is that first, renewable energy sources are very badly needed. And we all know we need to move away from fossil fuels to save the climate. And we need replacements for that, cost-effective and reliable electricity. Because as in this process, the society is electrifying more and more. Cars, all transports, industrial process being electrified. So we need more clean electricity. As it is now, very often electricity is generated very far away from where it's used. So you lose a lot when you transport it or transfer it. We also have a lot of areas in the world that are not connected to electricity. And we can really help to solve that kind of problem as well. There's also a lot of resources going to waste. Excess heat from industrial processes, a lot of waste that could be used in a better way, a lot of biomass, worldwide, but especially in Sweden and Southeast Asia, that could be used better. And how we can use this better and help solve this problem is through our Stirling engine. We convert difficult hot gases from waste material or biomass into green electricity. We can also use excess heat from industrial processes to convert them into electricity. Our systems are small, which is a very important fact. Small but modular. So our solutions can go from 30 kilowatt to 500 kilowatt. And there's a big gap in the market for these smaller power generating systems. The engine is based on the license from Saab Kockums who developed it, and we are the only license holder in the world today. Some of the benefits is that we can create small stations, small and medium-sized electricity generator stations, instead of transporting a lot of resources very far. For example, waste, garbage that gets burned in big power plants, biomass, etc. We can actually build smaller plants very close to the resources. Plant can even be moved instead of. So I think this is going to be a game changer. This decreases transportation costs and also CO2 emissions. Also, investment costs and investment construction time will be much shorter. And again, we're taking care of resources that otherwise today mainly go to waste. So it's really a win-win. Here are, just to explain, two of the current applications that our current engine and module is part of the solution. One is to convert biomass or waste to clean electricity. Possibly also produce biochar to capture and store CO2. That is done through a partner that we are working with, and we have a system ready that is being built now, and we started in late June in China. That's taking care of biomass waste and other waste through a gasification process. We're also looking at in industrial places where you have excess heat that today is difficult to take care of. It can be difficult gases or heat that is today not taken care of. We can go in there, install our modules, and create green electricity. Looking at the market, this is a global estimate. It's the waste to energy market. There's a lot of different types of solutions in this market, but it's very big and it's also growing very, very fast, and it will continue to grow. The world needs this type of solutions, and we believe that we can be part of this growth. We provide new solutions, good solutions, and if we can be part of creating or taking some of the market share, we already have a fantastic market. Our projections here, we are in 2024 with just our first 10 engines that are already ordered, or we have orders for, will be produced and delivered end of this year. And from there, we will continue expanding production and our deliveries and sales. As I mentioned, cash flow positive to 2026, and then a continuous growth. It's a lot to do, but we have a plan, and we're going to execute it, and we're going to do it. And as I mentioned, we are currently taking in an investment round. The details are on the screen. I'm not going to talk to them, but today we are just taking in 12 million crowns. And we are going to use this to As I mentioned, we will have a demonstration system up together with a partner, and we're going to start more intense sales activities and looking for new solution partners. We will start taking part more, showing ourselves a bit more now that we have a product and solution to show. Of course, we're also already starting to ramp up production. We also need to start strengthening our organization, building that. And we're also already in the process of developing our, how to say, next step solution that should be done in about 2 years. I think that's about it. Carlo, how did I do with timing there? What do you think?
Excellent, if you ask me. So let's kick off with a couple of questions. We received some questions here ahead of this meeting, and obviously you have elaborated about the market, which is huge. But who do you compete with? Because it's a big market, but it's also a fragmented market when it comes to products, I would assume.
Yes. Let's put it this way. If it's a very big industry, for example, where you have a huge amount of excess gas or heat, there are already good solutions to handle this. So we're not competing with them. But where we go in is where maybe you have a smaller amount. It's still valuable resources, but they are too expensive to take care of and utilize with present technology, because that takes a lot of investment and it's quite big installations. So here we come in as a smaller, flexible, ready-to-use solution. So we see it will be incorporated in bigger systems as an accessory, and we're not competing with anyone at the moment, because there is nothing to use that to solve that problem now. We are a new solution. Same with biomass and garbage in many ways, where today this is transported a long way, and we can then, by being closer to the resource and smaller, we can avoid that. So we say again that it's a new solution. And also when we look at islands, for example, it can be in Philippines or Indonesia, there is no grid, but there's a lot of biomass, there's a lot of garbage. We can be part of solving their electricity problems. Now maybe they need to use diesel generators and such. So in that case, we would be competing with that solution. There's a lot of applications for the product.
But one could then say that you are competing with, I wouldn't, ignorance is a strong word, but obviously it's a brand new technology which is flexible, smaller, and a lower price, but the user needs to know that. So that's also something to compete with, I could argue.
Absolutely. That's why it's so important for us to get our demonstration system up and running. So we're getting that one first in China, and we'll have another one next year in Sweden or somewhere in Europe, we hope. Because when people see it, they believe it.
Yes, and I have one question here, which is, I think you answered that, but that's who uses your product? Is it the same as the buyer? And you said that you were going to incorporate your engine in a bigger schedule or a module. So I guess it's not really the end user that would be your client, or is it both?
A little bit of both, but you're absolutely correct. In this phase in our company, where we are still building up, strengthening organization, and so what we look for is maybe bigger partners that provide solutions for example, gasification of biomass and waste, or solutions to industries to take care of their bad gases or excess heat, and become part of their systems initially, so that we become part of their portfolio and part of their solutions somehow. Thereby, we will grow and learn and strengthen our organization, and But the goal is that by end 2026, we should be able to also handle our own projects and be the sort of project owner or installation owner. But we're taking it step by step, and the first steps are to partner up with bigger players. But we'll also do our own marketing and try to introduce this solution to the complete solutions to end users.
But one could say that in the near-term future, the marketing of your technology would be probably done by your partners, who will then use this as a unique selling point, one could argue.
In a way, yes. We will help them with doing that marketing, and we'll also use that to we will market ourselves to potential partners mainly, because the more partners we have in, the more solutions we can be our product is a part of, the wider our market becomes. But it's correct.
And if we look at your forecast here, you had a slide showing a tremendous swing into 2029, and I believe you were addressing a market share of $190 million.
Yeah.
Will you expand by, the existing units, or will it be complementary, or indeed other products? And is there a geographical expansion, or would you focus on? I get the feeling that Asia is very much on top of your agenda.
This forecast here is based only on our existing solution, the one we have now, which we call the Hot Flue Gas solution. In 2026, 27, or 27, we should start selling also our next level solution, and as I mentioned, be able to handle our own projects. But that is not part of this forecast, because we haven't been able, or not able yet, to forecast that in a proper way. We will learn a lot the coming years, so that will be an added bonus. If you say, I think we're going to work globally, but we can't be everywhere at the same time. So we will probably start with Europe and Asia, which is already a huge part of the world. But I believe there will be a very good possibility that we can also open up and have installations in North and South America and so forth. As I know, it will depend on how much we can chew and what partners we get. We're going to stay flexible and look at the best opportunities as they arise.
So the key words here will be that chart is let's say a single product, and there are more to come, but you'll cross that bridge when you get there.
Yeah.
No.
Correct.
Interesting here. If we look at a little bit about the history and ownership structure here, could you elaborate a little bit? Do you have a skin in the game?
Yeah, I have some skin in the game, but I'm not the major owner. But I do have some. Yeah, I have a fair amount that I have invested. But we have, if you look at the structure, we have one major shareholder that became an investor here invested in the company in January this year, and he owns about 28%, I believe. And then we have a group of founders that own another 28% or something like that. And then we have quite a few shareholders, smaller or my size kind of shareholders.
Yeah, it's interesting. So it's the beginning of a very interesting journey. It sounds like. But where should one turn to if one wants to participate in this future success story?
It's possible to check the website stirlingversal.com, and there's an info address you can send to, ask for information. I believe You can also email me if this presentation will be available. Let's see here. There is my email here at the last slide that I kept here for that. Those are probably the best two ways. And I don't know if then we can share of course, the investment memorandum complete over, and also answer questions about how to do and so forth.
Excellent, Johan. Thank you very much. So Stirlingversal is the name, and if you have any interest, check it out. And with that, Johan, we thank you. Thank you for this presentation, and good luck in the future.
Thank you, Carlo. Thank you all.
Och då ska vi göra så att vi tar en kort paus när vi ska micka upp nästa gäst. Vi är strax tillbaks. Och välkomna tillbaka, och nu är det dags att välkomna danska Audientes och VD Sten Tygesen här i studion. Hej Sten!
Hej då!
Ni är ju listade på Spotlight och ni genomför en företrädesemission på 4,9 miljoner danska kronor. Och likviden som jag har förstått den ska användas till marknadsföring i Asien och Europa. Och jag tänkte att du kan ju få presentera hur det ska gå till. Men jag tror att vi ska köra presentationen på engelska.
Ja, det är korrekt.
Ja, varsågod. So without further ado, the floor is yours.
Okay, tack så mycket. Yeah, welcome to this introduction to Audientes and our current rights issue of shares. It's a pleasure to have you with us, and today I have sort of prepared a good detailed walkthrough of what is basically contained in this current issue of new shares. And also, of course, what the company is doing and what we have achieved till date. Now, we are a Danish company founded in 2014 with the aim of really increasing access to good hearing aids and advanced hearables. Today we have two parts of our business. One is where we basically make and sell products, primarily actually in countries in Asia at the moment. India has been our initial key market, and then we are now launching into both Japan and China during here towards the end of the second quarter. We also have some initial sales going on e-commerce in Europe, but I'll get back to that a little later. We then also have a new leg to the business called software platform licensing. That's basically where we're using our intellectual property developed to date to expand our reach into the markets surrounding basically the hearing aids and hearables segments. So why are we focused on Asia so much? Well, it is because the bulk of the world's 500 million people with disabling hearing loss is actually based in countries in Asia. So very people-rich countries like India, China, and all the other Southeast Asian countries are basically where you see around 60% of the world's people with hearing loss being present. So in India, you can say 1.3 billion people. It really translates to a very significant number of people who has a need for a good hearing aid, but who may not be able to afford the existing quite high-priced quality products. The same in China. There's around 28 million people sort of estimated that also are suffering from a degree of disabling hearing loss. And this is what we have set our sights on. Now, the global market of, you can say, people with hearing loss is actually somewhat common. A lot of it is due to age-related hearing loss, but there are increasingly many people that has got a loss of hearing due to increased use of recreational sound, so basically loud music played in the ears. So we are seeing this market for us basically growing significantly, and WHO supports this. They project around 900 million people in the world by 2050 with disabling hearing loss, and this is up from around 500 million today. So significant growth, unfortunately, to be expected. Our market is consisting of people that has never had a hearing aid before, those who currently has one but are looking for something to complement it, and then those who are considering different options from time to time. So basically, as we have illustrated here, a sort of a group of different people who have different reasons for why they would consider a hearing aid. Not forgetting the actual family members who are often the ones who are recommending and researching solutions for a relative. How we go to market is basically through existing channels that you can say are already handling hearing aids, so the professional channels. But we're also expanding into opticians and pharmacists, and I would say also even the NGO channels. So basically charities who are working with people who may not otherwise be able to afford a hearing aid are those that we are partnering with in India, and we are taking that model into other countries. E-commerce is also super interesting for our product, as I will get back to, because it has all the hallmarks of being able to be sold and delivered and used in a sort of e-commerce setting. And of course, then there's many channels depending on where you are in the world that are more dominant than others, but that is part of the local go-to-market issues. Our portfolio has been expanding since we launched our first product in India in 2022. Today we have our VEN hearing aid, which is a neckband hearing device. So essentially a hearing aid that is sitting, you can say resting around the neck, but with two earbuds going up, one to each ear. And then people are able to use that whenever they need, you can say, improved hearing. Some people use it for most of the day, other people use it more on a kind of leisurely basis. But we are now introducing our hearable, which is a consumer electronics device, both in India, both in Japan and in China, as a fully localized version, so with packaging and everything else done in the local languages. We are also selling this product in Europe under the name Companion. One of the things we are looking to do this year, as also part of this rights issue, is we are seeking to expand our portfolio with a hearing aid done in the more classic design. We have learned from the market that in order to really broaden our reach, it really is quite desirable that we play in the same, you can say, form factor as where the classic market is, because that is what people are used to, and it'll help us get in with the different channels if we have a broader portfolio of different form factors. So that's something we are now looking into, and I will get back to that shortly. Now, just a few words on VEN. So VEN is a fully fledged hearing aid with support for disabling hearing loss up in the severe hearing loss segment. It has got built-in self-fitting, or it supports dispenser fitting depending on what country you're in. There's some rules typically on what is basically allowed and also what is preferred by the different channels. It has got a high quality pure tone audiometry based hearing test and also a fitting algorithm based on the NAL and L2, and then it supports media streaming, have various programs for playing television sound or concert sound or handling noise from the street and so on in different ways. So it has got a lot of things packed in a product that is currently selling for around $200 to $300 equivalent in the Indian market, and it's also the same price roughly in e-commerce in Europe for the Companion product, I should say. And that's the product we are getting to here now. Companion is also a quite affordable device. It is sold and marketed as a hearing enhancer. Some people call it assistive listening device, and it is essentially a neckband worn device that helps people hear better in certain situations, and especially around, for example, listening to television, playing music, and so forth is really good for that particular purpose. But also it will help people improve their ability to hear in situations throughout the day. And then you can say the new addition to our portfolio, we're looking to bring this to market in 2025 as early as we can. It is a classic hearing aid design in the sort of version called behind the ear and receiver in canal style, where there is a little wire with a loudspeaker going into the ear. And this is something we are going to leverage our existing software platform and hardware assets in building this product. Aim is to be affordable, but good quality, so people will actually get, you can say, an improved experience compared with what else is in the market in the price points we are targeting at. And it'll support up towards this level called profound hearing loss, so up to 90 dB hearing loss, which is quite significant and it packs all the other features that we know from our platform already. And the platform is this, you can say, also a new addition to what we do. We have learned that in order to broaden our opportunity space and access the market, it'll be beneficial for us to partner with companies who are already either making hearing aids or want to make hearing aids and other products. So this is why we are looking to take the next step, use our software assets in working with different partners, brands and so-called OEMs on essentially helping them create products and for them to take to market and sell. So this is essentially one of the things that we are now this year starting. We are initially working with our Chinese partner on essentially setting up a joint venture in China to make products locally for that market, which we then are looking to, of course, export into other markets. And in that process, we will be supporting not just iOS and Android, but also the Harmony OS, which is really significant in China. So quite a few things going on here that I think will be really beneficial to our company as a whole. Now, moving into this sort of, okay, so what has happened today? And I would say we went to market with our initial products in 22, and we did have some challenges in the Indian market, difficulties of actually kind of getting paid for our products and so on. And we ended up taking quite a lot of products back from the channels. We then started working more, so you can say, focused in India with a new partner in 23. And now we are continuing, you can say, that overall effort. But we are changing some things in India to really optimize the models. There was things that didn't work. So we expect this year to improve over last year. So 24 should be definitely an improvement. But we had a quite slow start to 24 as we were really changing things in the channel again. But overall, I would say our aim is to return, you can say, or go to a position of being profitable in the coming years. And our aim is to really be cash flow positive in the 2025, which means that our focus on reducing costs and really driving sales, selling what we have developed already, as well as bringing new products to market, should help us in that endeavor. So our aim for this year is to sell around 5,000 to 6,000 units of our companion and our Ven products. This would translate roughly into 5 to 6 million Danish kroner in revenue and should bring us to a point where we have a significantly lower EBITDA loss than last year. We aim at ending up between 3.5 to 4.5 million people in sort of this, you can say, investment that we're making in the company. We still have to go out to the capital market and you can say secure funding to bring us to that point. We've got invested a lot in marketing and sales in order to get a stronger position in the markets. So I thought I would sort of here at this stage in the presentation sort of say a few words about each of the key markets that we are in. China for us is one of these new markets. We have an existing distribution partner who has also invested in the company and placed an initial product order that our aim is to deliver here in basically in the coming months, ideally during the end of this quarter. And Hengtong, as our partner is called, is the one that we are working on establishing a joint venture with, which we think is really exciting and it will help us get to market and also address issues around funding for the development and the whole go-to-market process in China. And the product companion is now localized into Chinese. It's going to be launched under a trademark Chinese name called Xi Yingyu, which basically is, you can say, amalgamation of kind of knowledge, music, and friends. So this is perfectly, I would say, in the continuation of our naming of our products. And we also, again, we are aiming to ship initial products into the market here in the second quarter. Japan is actually at a quite similar state. We have completed the localization of the Japanese product, and we are right now preparing the products for being shipped into the Japanese market. Again, it has taken quite a while to get ready, I would say, but we have now a fully fledged operational Japanese subsidiary with local, you can say, investors who are working with us on the whole go-to-market there. So for us, this is again one of these key steps that we think will broaden our reach into a market that is very different than India, but we can see that there is a need for accessible hearing devices in Japan that are not necessarily hearing aids per se, but really has got an opportunity to help people who has a difficulty hearing in certain situations with a really good solution. And the form factor is well known in Japan, so we again have high expectations of that market and are really looking forward to be present with a great product in that market. Now coming back to India, and of course Europe. So India is our original market of entry. We have still work to do there, but we have a great little team there who are working on basically broadening the reach of our existing product with some, you can say, well-reputed partners. But we are also looking to introduce our new product, the rig product, in that market, which we think will really be one of the openers for real in that market for us. This will give us a portfolio of both, you can say, our neckband device and our more classic behind the ear product, and that I think would be really good for our business there. And then in Europe, we have, both in Denmark and Sweden, we have partners who are, you can say, marketing our hearing device Companion, but we're looking to do more in Europe, both in working with them, but also broadening the reach into other countries. And in both, you can say, markets, India, Europe, as well as in Japan for us, part of what we are looking to raise funding for is really the go-to-market, so we can be more visible and present in the different channels, online as well as in retail. So just to summarize, you can say the investment case around Audientes. We have already now a quite innovative product line that has been now tested in the market. It's quite mature. So the whole technical issue around where we were when we went IPO in 2020, that is sort of like a very different situation. We have developed products, we have a platform, and we have sort of basic products that are now available for retail in the market. We've made this strategic kind of pivot to also include software licensing in our business model, and we think in the coming years this can become more and more important to us. And then we're using this, you can say, decision also to sort of use our software in new settings to actually create a new product to ourselves and our partners, this behind the ear product. So we think we have this really good opportunity to secure a better position in the value chain now with what we're doing, and that will be, you know, really well for our company and our shareholders. So at this stage, I would say there's some, you can say, more practical things now I would like to cover. So in terms of our ongoing rights issue, so this is with preemptive rights for our existing shareholders, which means that all shareholders has received subscription rights now in their depositories and so on. So they will be able to utilize those and subscribe to shares at the cost of around, well, at 3.5 Danish euro per share, which is, I would say, a discount of around 30% on the VWAP calculated price prior to we announce this share issue. We are seeking to raise, as you said, Carlo, around 4.9 million Danish kroner if fully subscribed. And we already have around 1.3 million Danish kroner in pre-commitment. So 26% of the rights issue, but we of course need both existing shareholders, but also those who want to get on board in the Audientes share. So now you can say, go and you know, make the decision and hopefully come on board in our share. We will really appreciate that. We're going to spend roughly half of what we are getting now on actually, you can say, dedicated marketing and go-to-market related issues, as well as we're going to invest in some of the product that we already have had made. So existing debt to be paid, but also some future investments in the product development and research and development side. So of course, as a company who are listed, we also have these general compliance related issues. So we are, of course, dedicating funding to that as well. And timeline-wise, we are now sort of roughly well into the subscription period. I would say anyone who is interested in getting on board now, you can say the subscription rights are trading until and including tomorrow. And the subscription period ends on June the 4th. And I do believe that some banks like Nordnet and so on, they actually have a date that is a bit shorter than that, maybe June the 2nd. So do please check that. And then thank you very much for your time and for your attention.
Well, thank you, Sten. Very interesting. I believe maybe you mentioned that this, I mean, you have a possible market to address of more than 400 million patient people or users. What separates you from your peer group, like the Sonova, Demant, and GN Store Nord? They will address the 1.5 billion, or how does it look out there?
Well, so I would say the existing, we call them the big five, the world's largest players. Of course, they have business models and you can say go-to-market models they're quite vertical. So they cover everything from creating products to actually also selling them in many countries. Their margins are quite high, and the units they sell is quite low compared with what we know from, for example, the mobile phone industry. So we're trying to come out with a slightly different approach where we have got products that are available at a more, you can say, a sharper price, so more affordable for people in those countries, and then with the quality that is actually to be found in much more expensive products. So, high quality, lower cost is our you can say, reason to be in the market. But in addition to that, we are packing in some features that are known from kind of the higher end products, coupled with our self-fitting technology. So self-fitting means that you don't have to go to a hearing clinic to actually have a hearing aid adapted to your hearing profile. That's one of our hallmarks that we are using in our, you can say, companion products and also in our hearing aid van. And this is something that for many people can be a boon for helping them to actually get hearing loss addressed. In other channels, the professional channels, they do prefer to program the hearing profile into the product, the audiogram, and we have also allowed for that to happen. So we are playing, you can say, on several fields here in the sense. So, yeah.
But one could say then that you have a lower price, but that does not mean that you have a lower quality, because it seems like you have a fairly high quality, a lot of features, and indeed I may say it looks quite good as well. So it's in between mobile and hearing aid there. You mentioned India here, and lessons learned in India, would they be applicable elsewhere, or is every market unique? Well, I think they are unique, but as you address Asia here.
Yeah, so I think we've learned a lot from India that we can apply elsewhere, definitely. I think part of the whole portfolio rationale for expanding our existing portfolio with more offerings, using our technology, our platform, but in different form factors, that's definitely something that has, you can say, something to be understood and implemented in other markets. That's for sure. Otherwise, I would say being present in a market, you learn a lot about end user related issues, perception, what works, what doesn't work. So all of this, of course, we have brought with us and are taking into the new markets.
Yeah. And
not least this sort of whole partnering issue, what is it required, for a partner to be able to do a good job and so on.
Okay,
yeah.
Good. And if we look at the cost structure here, could you just give us some sort of flavor for in the total cost? If we look at marketing in different countries, product development, and if there is such a thing as vendor financing, would it be a third of everything, or where is the high cost, and where would you like to be focused?
Yeah, so we're not really engaged in vendor financing as such. We do provide marketing support, but we are trying not to go into that and having to actually invest in our channels marketing. We provide them with assets, and then we're looking for our local partners to really invest in the go-to-market. We're spending, I would say, you can also see that from my slides, most of what we are now seeking from the market, we're going to invest in actually go-to-market. And then, of course, we have other aspects related to R&D. So you can say roughly maybe half of that in go-to-market, and then half of that, one third in R&D and those kind of related areas.
And if we look at the revenue split, you have a forecast of approximately 5 to 6 million Danish, given the numbers of units you were selling. If we look at the geographical split, and then if you, look forward for another 2 or 3 years, where do you think that it will come from for this year, and where would you like it to come from, let's say, 3 or 4 years out? If you could just look at India, China, and Europe.
Of course. We haven't disclosed, you can say, a regional breakup of these revenue projections. But it is quite clear that both China and India are very people-rich countries. And Japan, of course, is also a large country in its own right. So we have good belief in that both China and Japan will be able to take a significant part of our market expectations, as well as India. As we get moving there, we have sort of some good expectations for that growth as well, but we don't disclose the exact projections at this stage. I'm sure we will be reporting on that in a few years to come, but right now it really is, you can say, focused on doing the best possible in each market. Yeah.
But if
Absolutely.
Extremely leveraged there. Right, if one wants to participate in this issue, they will contact Audientes, or?
Yes, so on our homepage, audientes.com, there is information about both the, you can say, subscription in its own right. You know, we have the issuer memorandum, we have brochures in Swedish and Danish and in English detailing what this is about. And then, of course, we have the sort of subscription notes, technical or subscription forms and so on. All that is available there. And of course, also in the different banks, Nordnet and Avans and so on, there's also opportunity to go and say, I like to participate in this. And all these, you can say, subscription rights that are out there, they are also to be purchased. Or you can also just subscribe for remaining shares, as it's called. So if there's something that is not utilized, you can of course get allocated shares as well. So I would say important thing is to look into this and kind of decide and instruct the bank before it's kind of getting to the very last days.
So one should quickly look up on the Audientes page, and also
Yes.
You are listed on the Spotlight.
We are on the
exchange,
Spotlight
we
stock
should say
market
that,
Denmark, and of course we're being traded every day. So yeah.
Good. Right. Thank you, Sten. Extremely informative, and this seems like a very interesting opportunity. So great.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Och tack ska ni ha. Thank you to all the viewers. Vi ses senare i nästa Invest Live. Tack ska ni ha.